you are a huge advocate for women's health, and I imagine, a lot of that is because of some of the stuff you've had to go through.
Yeah.
And one of those that you have been, somewhat open about is your miscarriage.
Mm-hmm.
Going back to that time, what did life look like in that moment, and what gives you hope to, keep trying?
Oh, I've had miscarriages before, and I didn't know why until recently. I had done in vitro. I've had miscarriages. Tried to do the embryo freezing, and so this time it actually it was a surprise pregnancy. We went to Bali, and we'd been super stressed out. Just bought the house, went to Bali, got pregnant, and it was surely I wasn't pregnant because it was so quick.
Yeah.
But it happened, and then doing it on camera, I honestly, I wouldn't change it, I guess, the way I did it, because I signed up for this, and so it is, it's reality, and it does help people, but most people wait for a reason, right? And they don't tell until you're in that safe zone.
Yeah.
And I didn't do that. I was so excited, and I just couldn't. I just wanted to tell everybody.
Yeah.
And of course, once I found out that I miscarried, it was, you're not just doing that to trying to figure it out and deal with it then, but the production, they come over, they have cameras in your face and doing all this stuff. And Romain was very protective right when we left. We were supposed to go do a scene at my house right after we left the doctors, but we thought that we were going to get the ultrasound photos and come show that, and then instead found out that I miscarried. And so
and they wanted to film that.
And so Romain's see what happens if you're at my house when we get back, see what happens. And so he's very, very protective. And they were well, we just want to catch it in the moment. We'll be very respectful. We'll pull the team down and only have a couple cameramen. We'll stay out of your way. And he was not today. We need a day. Just do not be here when we get back. And so so they did give me that day. They came first thing in the morning. But at least I had a couple hours to grieve alone. It was interesting. I think I went through a lot of ups and downs where I was either just completely numb and then I would just uncontrollably cry. But it hit me harder this time for some reason. I didn't think I've had miscarriages before, but it hit me harder this time, and I don't exactly know why. But I went through I've never been depressed. I don't think really of all the things I've gone through, I've never actually been depressed, but I went through a decent depression, for about 6 months after it happened. And I just couldn't pull myself out of it. It was really tough. I would get up and I would go do what I had to do and put a smile on and just be me. But then I just want to go home. I'm it was a rough time.
Yeah.
When the show was going to air, I don't know how long of a time span that was, but were you prepared to have to relive that? And now really you already had to do it publicly because there was, the crew and everyone that you film with knew, but it was
then open it up to the world.
Yeah. Having to do that again.
Yeah.
Were you prepared for that, or what was that experience for you?
That was, I had just started coming out of the depression, I think, because it's about 6 months between when we're done filming and then when it airs. Okay. And so I just started coming out. So that was a good thing, where I was mentally able to start talking about it more and stuff. But then it's right when you get out, then you have to rewatch it. Yeah. And it's you don't see yourself on when it's happening, and relive that, watch it and then relive it and then do all the press, and you have to talk about it over and over and over and over again. Yeah. And so that was something.
Yeah.
but
Were
it was
you-
good. There was a good response to it, and it helped people. So, and that's what now I just take from it is that, it might as well. I mean, I can't change what happened for me, but I can help other people by just being open about it and being there for other people and making it where it's okay to talk about it and it's very common.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the thing that we've come to learn just from having multiple friends that have miscarried is like how common it actually is. Doesn't make it any less easier. But there is, I feel like still that type of like, I'm not alone. Like, because it's so quick for as a woman to think what's wrong with me.
Right.
Why did my body do this? I couldn't, keep my baby.
Right.
Like it's so easy to think that, but when you hear how common it is, it helps you feel less alone. But
Yeah.
it still doesn't make it.
It doesn't
easier.
make it easier. No, my friend is. I'm always very close with my exes. I don't know why, but my ex-boyfriend is also one of the world's like leading gynecologists, OBGYNs, and so he does this, and so he's on the board of directors with me. He pulled me in on it for AAGL, which is it's a global organization that focuses on women's health, and then do fundraising for outreach programs to give health to people in underserved areas like in the world. There's a couple of things that we're working on right now, and then do research for endometriosis, because it's like 8 out of 10 women are misdiagnosed or not diagnosed. And it's a serious problem. And then also with like fertility, like do more research on fertility, what's happening in society right now, because the numbers of women that are not able to get pregnant or carry a baby right now, even in their 30s, like early 30s now, it's like they're almost infertile. What is happening right now? And so it's really scary. Like there's something changing, like what we're eating or what the environment or something. I don't know, but so trying to get funding for research and stuff on that too.
It's interesting to hear you say that, because like, I mean, I don't know any facts here, but it just feels like, recently it just has become so much more difficult. I mean, we can take all of our friends, and I would say half of them struggle with that.
Right.
Like
And it probably still in their 30s, I would assume. 20s or 30s.
Yeah.
That's my assistant even. Like she was in her late 20s and had to have IVF.
Yeah.
I mean, it's incredible. Like in a bad way. But so we're just trying to make a change on that. But I found out, I think going back to why it's still difficult is because I found out through a full body scan that I did. And I just thought for just overall health, I did this thing per Nuvo, it's a full body scan. And I found out that that I have a septum in the middle of my uterus. And so first, I'm glad I found out. And it is my friend that's a doctor. He was sitting right next to me, and so he saw it. He was like, "Wait a minute!" He's like, "Back up." We were going through the scans, and the radiologist was like, "Yeah, that's what I want to point out to you." He's like, "You've always had this. This is from birth." So my son, turns out he's like a complete miracle, because I'm not able to get, unless I have that surgically removed, I can't carry a baby. And so, because it would have to be where the septum goes through, it would have to be like in the widest part of the uterus. And it is a perfect thing, but probably because I was so young, I was somehow able to do it. And I didn't have a problematic pregnancy. I had no idea, but through all of the treatments that I've done in vitro, I've done all these things. No one thought to tell me. Wow. They just took the money, and they didn't even tell me that I have a septum that was going to prevent me from actually carrying full term.
Right.
Like what? So I need to have surgery and get that done. But right now I'm 44, and I mean, it's going to be a very challenging journey. It's not that it's not going to happen, but right now I'm just trying to focus on just educating other people to try to help prevent things like this from happening to a lot of other people.
Yeah. It's crazy what, like, it sounds so basic, like that should have been seen like however long ago. But I feel like that's like, for how, like, I've never heard of that. I don't know if that's like a rare thing.
It is
but
rare.
Like things that are more common, like endometriosis, PCOS, like my girlfriends are like just finally like getting diagnosed with it because they keep going back to their gynecologist and like, something's not right. Something's not right.
Yes.
And it doesn't make sense why we don't
Why
we don't know more.
Exactly.
Like,
and that's, Ido is a huge, he's like, an advocate for women to speak up. He's like, this is ridiculous. And doctors are not listening. He's like, women might not know what's wrong, but they know there's something wrong.
Yeah.
And so do not listen to your doctor. If they're like, oh no, it's just this, it's just this. He's like, find a new doctor. Don't listen. Just say, like, just be an advocate for yourself, because the doctors just aren't listening, and they just go with they're just either overworked or just don't care. He's like, so we need to make them accountable, and we need to help make women accountable for their own health.
Yeah, that's something I learned in the hospital, just like in general, is finding people. Like, it's so easy to, like, even I've started to experience this as a nurse, like becoming jaded to, you see the same thing over and over and over again. So it just is like back to back, and you don't think further, like, no, this is like a single human's life that we're talking about, and everything that goes on for this one person. And that's the same thing. And, you know, as a nurse, I started feeling myself doing that, and I was like, oh, no, we can't do that. But it's easy
to get caught up in just like the repetition. It's like, oh, it's probably this. And then
I mean, like, I can't blame them, because it's if you've been working for 40 years, you've been seeing the same thing. I bet that's hard to not do that. But it's you do have to do that. You got to find,
to remind yourself.
Find the person that is going to like help advocate for you. And help get to the bottom of why you're having, issues or whatever you're struggling with. No matter from women's health all the way to cardiac health, like everything in between.
Everything.
It's so important.